Hey, I finished up my challenge run for Berseria, so I thought I'd do one last guide, or at least the last guide I can think of at the moment. A lot of people are probably wondering how you get the best equipment. There is a spreadsheet that shows the drop rates for everything. The things that aren't listed are the unnamed weapons, which are all dropped on the last 3 floors, and they're all monster drops. I have a couple here. Some of these are from the shop, some of these are from just farming. I got these from farming as well. Now, what they don't tell you is there's lots of different ways to increase the drop rate. One of the obvious ways you can put on your item collector, I believe it's item getter in the Japanese version, you can put that on to increase your drop rate. There's also this particular recipe right here. This will increase your drop rate a lot if you get 50,000 damage in one combo, which on the harder difficulties, when you're at least decently geared out, is not a difficult thing at all. Now, I don't remember where to get that recipe, but in terms of where you get the ingredients for it, it is from Quickie Peninsula, which is the last island you unlock. I believe it's one of the most common drops, so you should be able to just farm it out. There's plenty of ways to cheat the expedition system. Even if you're on console, you can just move your clock up half an hour and the game will give you the drop. There's plenty of easy ways to do it. If you're losing patience with the grinding, which can be understandable towards the end of the game, you can look up various ways to kind of bypass the expedition timer. I don't know why this game has mobile game timers in it to begin with, so however you want to do that, you can do that up to your own discretion, but this is where you get the ingredients. You get a pretty significant amount of them each trip, so if you're artificially, speeding up the timer, you should be able to have enough to get whatever you want. Now, there's also an Azurite, which I also don't remember where to get, that increases the drop rate for items that you don't have. Here you go. Increases drop rates for items that have not yet been collected on hard mode and above. I think the drop rate also increases more as you go up in difficulty, so intense and chaos. Now, the thing about the EX dungeon is that the enemies are super annoying. They spam status effects, and they also block and resist almost everything. So I suggest doing it on chaos. You might even be able to manage with hard. There are a couple things that you want to do to increase the drop rate. Obviously, you want to have all these things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link to the spreadsheet, which has most of the drop rates, most of the drop locations, rather, and the locations of all the Azurites and stuff like that. So you can find this Azurite there. But go ahead and I'll update the description. I don't want to pull it up while I'm recording, but I'll update the description for where to find all these ingredients. Now, what you want to do is you make sure that the last enemy dies with a Mystic Art. So make sure you have some BG available on one of the characters you can swap to and kill them with that, because that will increase the drop rate tremendously. Now, I suggest doing a quick save every time you do this, because sometimes they just block everything and your party will get decimated, and you don't want to lose a drop if it actually does come out. So, get to the dangerous encounter. First thing you want to do, make sure you get the 50,000 damage. There you go. There's the extra drop chance. Over double what you need. Now these particular enemies drop Velvet's best weapon. And I believe the Scorpions drop the best dagger for Okuro. Wish the AI had not switched out of it and started using it. I hate when they do that. Sometimes you plan on switching to them and then the AI is not for you. So you want to make sure you're keeping an eye on how many hits you left. You want to make sure the last one is taken out. Even if you don't get what you want, you hit a bunch of junk units for something else. For upgrading or whatnot. Okay, so this guy's the last one. You also get a pretty hefty amount of experience too, so if you're on New Game Plus and you're trying to get the level 200 achievement, this is a good way to do it as well. Since you won't need grade at this point, I recommend quick saving after every single battle. No matter how confident you are, things can go sour very fast because of how often they block. If they decide to block for several seconds at a time, it can destroy your party. But as you see here, I just got 2 of the unnamed blades right there. So go ahead and check your items. So I just got 2 of the best blade in the game for Velvet from doing that once. Now, obviously, it's not going to be 100%, but if you combine all of those drop increasing, abilities and stuff like that and equips, you get a pretty high chance of getting what you want. And what you can also do is you can also dismantle things from the menu. Now, obviously, if you're on New Game Plus and you have the last Acerite you get from completing the EX dungeon on your first playthrough, you might not want to do that because if you upgrade something once and then dismantle it, you get double the materials from it. But if you're in a good grind and you don't want to go back to town for whatever reason, obviously the EX dungeon is randomly generated, so sometimes it can be difficult to get back to where you want without doing a bunch of resetting. You can actually dismantle them here. But this is an excellent way to farm up void scraps as well if you're trying to upgrade your stuff. But yeah, this is probably my last guide for the game. I don't really know what else there is to cover that other people haven't, but basically you want to equip as many equipment drop rate increasers as possible, which you can get. I'll go ahead and go over it one more time. Your item collector, this will be pretty easy to get once you're towards the end of the game. You max this out, you'll get 2 extra drop rate increasers. You can have them on your gear as well, but at the same time, you're going to be doing this on Chaos, so I don't know how feasible it'll be to change your gear around. And then you get the ingredients for the parfait from here. And like I said, there's numerous ways to cheat that if you don't want to wait. It's not a free-to-play mobile game, and it's also a single-player game, so if you want to cheat, then, more power to you. And this is where you get it. You will get numerous ingredients for it each time you do it, so it shouldn't take that long. As long as you have a couple dozen, you should be able to get everything you need. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You just have to combine all those things, make sure the last enemy goes out with a Mystic Art, and you'll get a pretty fat equipment drop increase. So like I said, just be careful. Don't be too confident. Don't get cocky, because these enemies have ended runs numerous times in the past for me. You want to save after every time. What you can also do, if you don't like the layout of the floor that you got. Obviously, make sure you get all the teleporters on your first run through. You can reset it this way. Like this one has the Malevolent. If you don't want to deal with that, you just go back to the cauldron with your Denor bottle. Go back in, and the layout will be different. It's actually being nice to me right now, but the most annoying one by far are the ones where you have to use the geoboard to surf through the Malevolence, and if you get touched, then you go back to the beginning. There's that one and the one where you have to light the lamps. That one can be pretty obnoxious because you have to light them in a specific way or else you get stuck, and it can be very hard to reset it. So if you don't want to deal with that, you can just reset the situation this way. That's something that a lot of people have not talked about as well. You can also use that to farm cat spirits. I think the chest room can spawn that way as well. So if you combine all these things, you get a pretty high chance of getting whatever you want. Anyway, that's it for now. My next video will probably just be maybe the art pause code. I'll probably make a video about that so that people can see that as well if they're on the PC version. Anyway, hope that helps. See you later.